On February 2nd, the department store Nordstrom, the chain, has done a big blow to our freedom and democracy by dropping the product line of Ivanka Trump. 6 days later, our great leader has decided to weigh in on this crisis on Twitter. He said, "My daughter Ivanka has been treated so unfairly by Nordstrom. She is a great person, always pushing me to do the right thing. Terrible." The tweet has then been retweeted for the official White House uh, Twitter account of the
Oh my God.
president. Well, if somebody missed it, man, you have to.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. We have to hear the pronouncements of our great leader.
yeah,
It's very important. That all of us peasants hear.
yeah. So then Sean Spicer has lashed out as well. The press secretary,
Oh my God.
as a government spokesman, he said that the reason Nordstrom ceased to carry Ivanka's product line was because they have a problem with his policy with Trump's. And and finally, for the third act, Conway, what's her name? Colleen.
Kellyanne Conway,
Yeah, there we go.
spokesman, I believe.
Yeah, well, she's not the official White House spokesman, but she's some sort of a emissary.
Hmm.
And she went on Fox News and said, "Go buy Ivanka's stuff. I hate shopping, and I will go get me some myself today." She said, "I'm gonna give a free commercial here, and go buy it, everybody. You can find it online." And so this, unfortunately, is illegal to say that because as a federal employee, she can't
She
print.
can't promote a private
Yeah.
company like that. That's good. You don't want cronyism. You don't want. You don't. I don't like the government picking winners and losers in the market. Frankly, it's not a very conservative
Well,
thing to
Ivanka
do.
will always be a winner.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It does. It's definitely not something you want. You don't want the government picking losers in the
Well, I
market.
mean, in this specific instance, I really don't give a shit because she was making a political point in her idiotic way. Her
Oh, I'm
sense was
sure.
that the liberal elite has conspired, and Nordstrom is their tool to
Right.
terminate these shitty shoes from Ivanka.
No, Nordstrom will lead the
Yeah,
resistance.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the
Gak
government in
reporting in.
exile. Yeah, the government in exile will be in Nordstrom.
It almost, Nordstrom. It almost does sound like some kind of like, because it's got Nord in it. It almost sounds like Storm. It almost sounds like what's that thing with V for Vendetta? Norse
Mhm.
Fire. It almost sounds like it'd be the name of some like like neo-Nazi party. But I guess instead they sell clothes.
Yeah.
So here's the big question in my mind: is her clothing brand any good? I mean, I'm not a big fashion guy, as you can
Mhm.
clearly tell. I'm not this like I'm not a fashionista. I'm not a male model.
Mhm.
I'm not Derek Zoolander.
Yeah.
But is this a decent clothing line? I mean, are you familiar with it very much at all?
Well, I'm wearing her underwear right now. It's
Really?
just, yeah, it's very
Is it
comfortable. Yeah.
comfortable? That's good.
Yeah.
That's
No, I
nice.
mean, I think it's just a piece of shit. It's like there's an Italian company that just makes these generic clothes
Yeah.
and they slap like the Ivanka label
Yeah.
on them.
Put the label. You're paying for the label, really.
Yeah, they really there was a controversy when it was revealed that a lot of her Ivanka shoes were just copies of Italian designers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, here's my question: where are they making these things? That's the other interesting part too. Are they made in the United States?
No, of
Or is it?
course not. But nobody gives a shit when
Oh
it
yeah, it's
comes to
them.
it.
Is it the darn Chinese that are taking
Yeah.
our jobs? In some because of course we totally live in a world where a job is like a right and you're entitled to other people's property. That's totally how it
Yeah.
works. That's of course the world we're living in, and of course the idea that I would expect a conservative politician to push. Right? They aren't necessarily these guys aren't better at doing it. They're not good at doing it. Cheaper and better. They're just stealing it. It's the yellow peril, the red menace. One of those things.
Well, Trump has always maintained this idea that, of course, I cheat on my taxes, of course, but now, of course, I've used the rigged system, but now I'm gonna, rig it for you, or
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
get on the inside and I'm gonna
Yeah,
help
right.
you.
The New York billionaire is going to destroy the liberal coastal elite.
Yeah.
Right, keep telling yourselves that. So yeah, it's interesting that this spat has broken out with this this fashion line. I mean, as far as I can tell, I've never heard of anything like this happening before. At least in the time I've been spending following American politics. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't recall, like, Lady Bird Johnson or Barbara Bush or Michelle Obama ever getting into anything like this. But then again, I can't recall them ever having pulled their clothing lines or them having clothing lines to begin with. It's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. Personally, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. I'm just that our immunity to idiocy has just kind of been going up and up because if this were to happen, like let's say with Michelle Obama, she had a clothing line and then it was dumped by some retailer, and Obama would be tweeting about it.
I can't even imagine him doing that.
Yeah,
I mean, have ever had many good things to say about Obama, but I can't imagine the guy getting on Twitter to complain about them not liking his wife's clothing line. It just seems absolutely ridiculous.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's impossible to imagine with anybody else, but now it's just the new normal. I mean,
Yeah.
it would have been a major scandal. Other politicians could lose a re-election because of it, of something so stupid they would just be mocked for it. But I mean, he just kind of increased the level of idiocy, you know.
It's really sad, just to see even the way he talks. Like he's the soundbite president, 140 characters or less. I mean, I remember, George Washington's farewell address. There's this part I loved. It was
I have the best hands.
no. It was my hope that oh crap, I forget it actually. It was something very eloquent. I say as I completely de-eloquentize this. Or for someone like Eisenhower to get up there and say that every bullet that is fired, every bomb that is dropped, every battleship that is built is a theft from those that have not. And these.
Well, that's not a very libertarian idea. I guess you're taxing them.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a libertarian, but he's okay, I guess, in my book. But presidents there used to be this kind of expectation that there would be certain kind of eloquence. You don't have to be an elitist. You don't have to be this.
Well, decor, yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, the flip side of that though is that I feel like for Obama, a lot of his more negative things that he did were kind of covered up by how well he could speak. I mean, the man's a great orator. He is an incredible orator, one of the best we've ever had. Like on par with JFK or something like that. But I feel like it kind of covered up some of the things that he would do. Whereas if Trump were to just come out there and say these things, like okay, for example, let's take Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, like the government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. If that were Trump, he'd get on there at the Battle of Gettysburg and be like, we beat him, we did it, we got it.
Well,
yay!
he did go to the Gettysburg, and he gave a speech there, but it was after all these women came out to accuse him of molesting them.
Oh, God.
So he delivered a speech at Gettysburg where he just basically said he was bitching about it, and he said, I'll sue them.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
So there might actually be kind of a silver lining to his brusqueness, which I guess is a very mild way of putting it, in his more informal speaking style, and that is that he will not be able to mask the ugliness of what happens in the American security state, in the American military state, in the American intelligence state. He's not going to be able to sugarcoat it. Obama could sugarcoat it.
Well, I mean, but some people support it. I mean, some people celebrate torture, and
some people do. A lot
Yeah.
of people do.
yeah.
A lot of people do. I mean, he ran on explicitly saying that we're going to torture people. But at the same time, the United States still does engage in doing that. Like, even, after presidents that say we don't, they still, what they do is they don't do it necessarily on, like, American soil. They'll outsource it. They'll outsource it to foreign intelligence agencies, and we'll take the information, or rather, the CIA, FBI, whoever, takes the information that are given by these foreign sites where this torture is being conducted. And torture is, like, the biggest, like, no-no as far as, like, government.
It's like having Mexican building contractors, except the ones that like
build the wall,
yeah, except the ones that like attach electrodes to your balls.
Yeah, right. Like
the job you don't want to do.
And And Obama, I'll never forget, when he was talking about like, American torture programs, he said, in this way, he's like, well, we tortured some folks. That was his phrase. We tortured some folks.
Yeah.
He's trying to,
Folks is his
trying to sugarcoat it. I'm like, you can't sugarcoat this. These people were taken without trial, without charges, and deliberate, excruciating pain was inflicted on them when they couldn't do anything to stop it. And and at the end of it, I mean, what useful information you get out of that? People just lie so you can get them to stop. Like,
Yeah.
And he's out there just sugarcoating it. And at least with Trump, the there's some kind of, I don't know, silver lining that he can't hide.
He just shows us the animals that
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah, he can't hide behind it.
Well, he doesn't want to hide behind it.
Yeah, there's this.
It's sort of like, do you beat your wife? Yeah, why the fuck not?
Yeah,
the bitch gets out of line.
Yeah, so but then the other thing you have to consider too is like, is this like almost like normalizing it? Because that's the thing. Like, you don't want to sugarcoat it. You don't want to hide it behind closed doors. But you want to normalize it either. I mean,
Those are your two choices,
right?
It either is like we torture some folks, or yeah,
right. Like,
yeah.
which do you want? Which is comparatively more awful?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But to go back to like Trump's communication style, I mean, I think that for me, Obama was not the great communicator that people thought he was. He the best speech he gave was about race, that one about the nuances of race, where he said that his white grandma, was so racist she didn't buy Aunt Jemima products. I'm just kidding. He said that she was afraid of black men on the street or something. That was a nuanced.
Yeah.
But after that he was attacked for allegedly throwing his grandma under the bus. And since then, he kind of retreated into these yuppie platitudes. And on that kind of front, it's nice. I mean, I don't like Trump, but it's just nice to do away with this sanctimonious rhetoric. It's like every fucking day is not Veterans Day or the 4th of July, where maybe, I mean, all the political speeches in the past have been much, much shorter than this shit. Instead, you have to listen about the freedom this and freedom that. And I think that even patriotic people are tired of this because they've heard this Lord of the Rings shit 100 times before.
Right.
And, and that kind of, Trump's kind of crudeness is, in that very small way, breath of fresh air, kind of like Ivanka's clothing line.
Maybe she can make her own line of babushkas.
Yeah.
Consider that.
Well, the babushka is actually a Yiddish word.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an appropriation of the Russian word, because babushka is a grandmother.
Okay.
But it's
also the name of the shawl.
Yeah. Well, the shawl is only in Yiddish. In Russian, you don't use it that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Nice little lessons in linguistics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like some of it has to do with Trump's, just his own brusqueness. It's a mild way of putting it. Some of it also has to do with, these new forms of communication. Presidents didn't used to have Twitter. I mean, this is a relatively new technology.
Yeah, fortunately that retarded platform was not invented back then.
I mean, if you think about someone like, say, Lyndon Johnson, who was known for being this very, very crude man. I mean, you want to know what this guy did? Okay, Lyndon goddamn Johnson. During meetings, he would just pull out his dong and just flap it on the table. He would call his advisor, like he would be, he'd be having these meetings about, where are we going to bomb, how the war in Vietnam be going. And he'd have to take a shit, and he'd call his advisors into the bathroom with him while he's taking a shit. And poor like Robert McNamara has to be like staying there, like McNamara, however you say it. Poor Robert McNamara has to be staying there, giving him these figures, giving him these casualty counts and these, intelligence analysts while the president's on the shitter. Like it's.
Robert Caro biography.
Oh, yeah. You read that?
Yeah.
I have a copy. I've just not gone. I haven't really opened it up yet. So yeah, Lyndon Johnson was this, this very crude man, but he didn't have Twitter. He had to go through the usual.
Well, I mean, he was very controlled in public, very boring and dull. He That's kind true. Of had the Hillary Clinton syndrome.
Yeah, and part of me feels like too is that it's almost like this. It might even be like a deliberate game on Trump's part, because he knows the more provocative he is, and he knows the more ridiculous he is, people will just eat it up, and people want to see it. I mean, even his enemies love this. I mean, they're just, or not love it, but they want to hear more about it. They want
Yeah,
to know what's going on with it. That's how he got so much media
yeah,
attention. It was free advertising. You know, he didn't spend a lot of money on advertising.
no.
You know, he didn't really spend that much money at all on the whole thing, and you know, he clearly won the election. So part of me thinks, you know, maybe this is some kind of deliberate thing on his part. Maybe he's smarter than we think he is, which is
I
kind of
don't
a
think so,
scary
but I mean,
possibility.
I think that basically what it is that most politicians have to be confined. Most politicians don't have much else going on outside of politics. There is,
True.
I mean, there are a lot of millionaires in the Senate, but aside from that, you know, like a career politicians, that's all they have, and they have to kind of exist within this frame, but it makes them boring robots. But then when you start bullshitting and going all over the place like Trump, you kind of get on this train when there is no stopping it. It's either you go all the way. You can't just like once in a while say, yeah, I support torture, and then
Yeah.
start. You have to then say, fuck, I'll ban the fucking Muslims too. You just kind of accelerate, and there are politicians like that in Europe.
Oh
They're
yeah.
yeah, like these populists who just say crazy shit all the time, but it was an innovation in America, at least on a national scale.
That's true. That's very true.
Well, I guess we're off to Nordstrom to see what else is available there.
All right.